Uh, last week, I think it's last week, PlayStation had their showcase. They showed off a bunch of new games. They showed off teaser for Wolverine. Spider-Man 2 looked good. What else? Ghostwire. They did an Alan Wake remaster, which I think looked amazing.
Ragnarok, God of War.
Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7. I mean, I think they did a really good job with that showcase. That showcase was.
They did exactly that showcase.
Yeah.
A lot of hype. We ain't see nothing about mechanics or anything like that, or how good a game might be. But it was.
Listen.
I mean, it's games that have a lot of. It's. You got God of War, Ghostwire, and Spiderman, who all have their predecessors of amazing games. So it'll be hard not. They will. I don't think they'll drop the ball on those. And then Insomniac is also doing Wolverine. So if it's anything like your Spider-Man, I don't know how you ruin it, except you're just giving it a Wolverine story. That probably got to be good.
And I feel like that's kind of good. I mean, granted, you want more, but that would be good enough for me if they just did the same type of. I mean, I don't know how, but like the same type of mechanic, but for Wolverine, they do a really good job. Their Spider-Man games are good. No, their Spider-Man games are great. Their Infamous series is really good. I liked the Resistance series that they did, their franchise. But speaking of Sony franchises, since we were looking at trailers, and we're gonna watch some of those trailers in the after show. So for the YouTube people out there, if you want to watch with us, make sure that you come on over to twitch.tv/2sam, 2SAAM. Tuesdays, 8 o'clock, we do live podcasts, and then we do an after show where we chat it up, watch trailers, things like that. So that's what's going to be on the agenda for us today. So hopefully chat sticks around for that. But yeah, they showed a lot. So I was thinking, listen, PlayStation came out in 1994. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 1994 that the first PlayStation came out. PlayStation.
Let's take a look. December 3rd, 1994.
1994. So everybody in chat who had a PlayStation, I now know how old you are, at the very least. You're at least 30 years old. So congratulations.
Damn, what are you trying to say? I ain't 30. I had a
I'm saying you played it when it first came out, then you most likely, there's no way you're not 30. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, if you played it
when it first came out, yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. So Sony's had a number of franchises throughout all of their generations. I have two in my head. I have so as far as best franchises go for Sony, there's two that pop up in my head. There's one that is personal preference. That is the one that is my guilty pleasure. But then there's the other one. The other one is the one, if I'm being honest, I think is the biggest franchise, and just a franchise that to me just hasn't been replicated. So before I say mine, Crunky, do you have a franchise that you think is Sony's best franchise ever? It's tough.
I'm cheating here. Looking stuff up.
Nah, hey, look it up, because there was a couple I'll give you an example, like Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank. I've played those before, but I forgot them, and I was looking up. I was trying to think of the best franchise, but they don't make the cut for me. There's two for sure that Sony has outdone themselves with. But before I say mine,
the thing is,
go ahead.
If we're talking all time, and you're talking about that, right? Like
any generation or cross generations.
I think you gotta put. Well, I'm looking at this, so I see. Like obviously, it's gotta be between the three all time when you're talking about length wise.
It could be length. It could be
Gran Turismo and Final Fantasy and Crash Bandicoot, right? Like those have been around forever.
Yeah,
Crash kind of died out a little bit, but they're bringing it back. Making some Crash games. As far as though what might be my favorite now, and what I'm
sure.
playing, because I don't feel like I had too much time with the PlayStation when I was young. Because like you said, I was so young. I was just like kind of playing it. Um, it would probably for me right now, like the current, new next gen type stuff. Spider-Man is pretty damn cool.
Spider-Man, they do really well with Spider-Man and Marvel stuff. Even like their Ultimate Alliance things, it was fun for what it was.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, huh? Spider-Man is new though, but you like you
That's what
said.
I'm saying. That's why I said new. Yeah, it's got to be my favorite right now. I don't know. I
So
would love, I would love. You know what though? Exactly, Gran Turismo, man. Was literally having to do 200 laps and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I would love a great racing game again, but I also don't know how much time we have to be doing one race that takes me an hour and a half. But it
that's the end of
sounds
the stream,
cool.
guys.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool when we were little, but like if I did it now, I know I'd be like my time span for that. Like I'd be like, all right, after 20 minutes, it's like, all right, because God forbid, you know, I crash on, lap 199.
Oh my
I'm breaking
God,
something.
you'd be
So
heated. You'd be
I'm
so
breaking
heated.
something. I'm breaking something.
All right, so Final Fantasy's my favorite franchise. The fact that you named it before me, I'm a little upset about, but that's okay.
But I
That's
know
okay.
it.
You
I
were just
knew it was
listing.
like
Yeah,
I was just listening.
that's okay.
That's your
But I
favorite.
mean, it has to be. I haven't looked up specific numbers. It has to be one of the
It's number two.
biggest, if not the biggest, RPG franchise,
Yeah.
and or at least yeah, RPG
Oh,
franchise.
maybe.
The only thing I don't know is Zelda considered RPG? I know in the beginning it was kind of
I
more like
guess maybe
adventurish.
the newer ones, maybe.
Yeah, because I know like Winds of Time or Corny of Time or whatever it is, and Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, all those, they're they kill it. Nintendo kills it, so I know that. But Final Fantasy 7 through 10, 7, 7, 8, 9 on the first PlayStation, 10, 12. Man, 10 and 12 I think are PS2. I'm starting to forget now. It's been so long since I've actually played. I played the Final Fantasy 7 remake, which was amazing.
I can't keep up with Final Fantasy. I don't
That's just it though.
know.
They call it Final Fantasy. There's nothing final about any of those fantasies. They just continue. They just continue. I don't understand why they call it Final Fantasy anymore. How can you have a final 14? That doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. I'm not the one making the names. They're also gonna make a Sony 18, PlayStation 18, I'm sure. So it doesn't really matter at this point. But yeah, it's franchise's favorite, hands down. Final Fantasy is the one for me. But again, if I'm being honest with myself, unfortunately, you guys listed it again. So Gran Turismo is the game. And actually, Irish thing in chat, I was talking to him last night about just games to play or whatever, and he brought up racing games, and I brought up, man, I miss the original Gran Turismo. Making that money so that you can buy that, it was, man, was it a Mitsubishi Lancer? I can't remember what it was.
Like
Man, it
Need
was.
for Speed.
Yeah, I mean, Need for Speed is a good franchise. I mean, obviously Underground was dope. Midnight Club was also a great racing game, but you can't take away having to that the most real simulation when it first came out. It was so amazing that they made it so real. I mean, you had to get specific class licenses.
Yeah.
I mean,
yo,
remember that you had to
yo,
do like the trial
honestly,
for
it was
the
great.
licenses.
You're right.
And you started
I
with a
completely
B,
was forgetting.
and then to get an A
That's
took you
crazy.
3 days because the difficulty like just shot like crazy. Between B and A, it took me forever. And then once I got A, I was like, you
That
know
was a
what?
cool system.
A sounds good enough. A sounds good enough for me. Infamous,
Infamous.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, Insomniac does amazing work with whatever they do.
Hero style game or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, they had the
Single
Resistance
player.
franchise. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't
Resistance
know
came
that
out.
one.
Yeah, so Resistance came out with the PS3 launch, I believe. And it was kind of like Killzone. Did you play Killzone?
Mm. I did play Killzone.
It was like
PS4
that. Yeah,
launch.
that was the PS4 launch. Well, PS3 launch had Resistance, and they did like three Resistance games, and the third one was kind of clunky. They didn't really know. It felt like they didn't really know where they wanted to take it, and then they did their infamous franchise. They kind of left Resistance alone. The CEO of Insomniac said he's done. As far as he's concerned, they're done doing Resistance things down the line. But Sony actually owns the rights to Resistance, so they're allowed to make another game if Sony chooses. They can do another developer. So, but yeah, Gran
Fun
Turismo and Final Fantasy.
fact. Fun fact. Yep, well, Tekken, I was mentioning that. But fun fact, I never owned a PS2 or PS3.
Wow. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're an Xbox guy. Oh, at the time.
I was PlayStation, and then Xbox came out. I was like, oh, cool. And it was at that time I wasn't making my money. It was lucky to get one console as a joint Christmas gift, So I went
The
Xbox,
Crunky Brothers together.
yeah, Xbox, and then had to get my hands on that 360. And then Xbox One with PS4. I was working, making my own money. I think I got the PS4 on launch, but then eventually traded in the PS4 and the Xbox One for Xbox One X. And then sold that bad boy, and I got myself a PlayStation 5 only, but I got myself a PC again. Because I did have a PC, or I didn't really have a PC. My brother always had a PC, and I would play like Unreal Tournament. That is just crazy to me. I was probably 10, playing better mouse and keyboard than I can now.
Can you imagine
I
if you started or kept going with mouse and keyboard, went from like 10 on, you'd be the next 10s.
Better. I don't know if I'd be the next 10. I think I could definitely be up in the second to last rank or whatever, third to last rank, though, in Valorant.
Valorant, yeah.
I'd definitely be having better clips. My punk ass is soft as hell in that game right now.
Irish thing, Tekken tournament. Do you remember how tilted people would get if you played with Eddie Gordo? I used to play with Eddie Gordo with Tekken Tag and Tekken 3, I think it was. And we used to do the same thing, like mini tournaments with the cousins. And people would literally take sides. They would be against me as a group. His capoeira dancing fighting style. I mean, I'm not a cheater. I'm just good at fighting games, guys. It's just, I mean, you guys are good with your shooting games. I'm decent. I should say decent, because somebody's gonna challenge me in chat, and then I gotta try to back it up.
Yeah, used to be. You could say used to be legit.
Yeah. I used to be. Yeah, his dancing was brutal. Man, Tekken is definitely a childhood. I actually remember.
Is that biased of them to make the Spanish guy dancing? Good at dancing.
He is Brazilian, I think he is. I think he's Brazilian. But yeah, I don't know.
Portuguese.
Portuguese? Okay.
Yeah, Portuguese guy.
Yeah, I don't know, but and Paul had a move where if you timed it just right, I think he would charge his arm up and punch straight, and it would take like 80% of your health if you landed it. It was the dumbest thing ever. It was amazing.
This guy needs to play Tekken again. Yeah.
Tekken was fun. Tekken, but the reason why it doesn't make the list for best franchise, even though it's a great franchise, is that I feel like there have been other fighting games that have come along and like overshadow Tekken, and you can see it now. Like when you think of a fighting game now, in the past, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, I can only think of Mortal Kombat 11, I think, and the Injustice 1 and 2. I don't know if they both came out in the last 4 years, but you know, those are the fighting games I think of now. And then maybe like the Naruto series.
I was gonna say, how about DBZ? Like I know the one, not the newest one, the one before. People still play that one, I guess, competitively. It has like a scene.
Yeah, DBZ Fighter.
See, now that's the question. Do we think, just to spark up a topic now here, do we think between Tekken, Mortal Kombat, right? And then let's say that Dragon Ball Z, I think it's Fighter Z, I want to say. So like Tekken and Mortal Kombat, do we think you're more skillful if you can play the DBZ game? Or are you more skillful if you can play the Tekken game? Which one has a higher skill ceiling? Like, I guess, skill separation?
I feel like it's gotta, I don't know. In my opinion, it's Mortal Kombat.
Okay, Mortal Kombat and Tekken is way more technical. Fair enough. Exactly. I don't know if the superpowers, takes away the skill. You're right, because it's more like you better be making physical contact with me, and you better be able to block. Maybe, energy and superhero-y makes it, a little less technical. All right. Irish things letting it be known. Mortal Kombat and Tekken is way more technical. All right. It was just a question. I don't know.
And it's a good one. It's a good one. If
one or the other.
If you are watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments down below what is the best Sony franchise. What do you think is the best Sony franchise? Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Do you have something different? Do you disagree with us? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy the conversation, make sure you hit a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Well, you're going to say something. I see it in your face that you were about to say something.
No, I was going to say, did we come to terms with what is the best franchise then? Obviously, it's just a question for the viewers out there.
It's food
let us know, but like, it's just hard because then as I look at them, like, no, we said Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy, right? They've existed though since what?
Gran Turismo.
1994 or Gran Turismo. What did I say? Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo. 1994, 95. Back to back. Blockbuster. I'm just let me stop. Is it 94, 95 or 96, 97? I don't know.
It's got to be 96, 97.
You know what, Doc? No one cares about you right now. We're not talking about you. Okay? Oof. You're in my head.
Oof.
93, 94. But like Gran Turismo and Final Fantasy have been around for so long. But realistically, God of War has also been crushing it since it's like God of War is up there, man.
God of War is up there.
Some people love that shit. But yeah, I get which one of the now speaking of, are all these games that we just mentioned, these Sony franchises, are they all single player based games?
No, not at all.
Which one?
None of them are, except for Gran Turismo is not a single player game. You can.
I mean, you could race multiple, but I'm saying like realistically, when it first came, like it's still based. I feel like the career, like the main mode, would probably.
Yeah, the career mode. I hear what you're saying.
Career mode. You got Final Fantasy. It's got its story. You don't play that online.
100%. Tekken
God of
is
War, single player games.
Tekken is
Tekken. You're right. Tekken. There you go. That's based off of competitive scene.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, there you go.
It's
just had to catch myself.
I think
you didn't talk about was Spyro. It's messed up.
Spyro. Spyro was awesome. Irish thing. PlayStation made their name on single player games, though. They did. They
Oh
did.
yeah, no, absolutely. I just think I was just saying how it's funny how, you know, we're talking about the best franchises and they're all single player games. Which now, if you were to talk about best franchises or games since 2015 on moving forward, probably not going to be a single player game. Or maybe, yeah, I mean, because I I guess the word is that single players are more likely polished because they're single player, and you eliminate the idea of
Uh,
obviously
Cy-
balancing and
Cyber
connectivity.
Cyberpunk disagrees.
I am talking
So
about in the grand scheme of things, generally speaking, games that get rated good are always a single player game as opposed to an online game because of bugs and everything. Come on, man, stop playing. You got Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft
Skyrim.
Auto, right? These guys, Skyrim, the greatest games.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They're all single player. Yeah.
Like, it's hard for me to say one franchise is better than the other because I have like such fond memories of different franchises on different console generations. If I had to pick one PlayStation franchise that's my favorite, I mean, man, that's tough. I mean, the new Spider-Man games are really good. Like, even though they're new, like that
Hey, it's part of
Spider-Man.
the franchise.
Yeah, exactly, man. That Spider-Man on PS4 was so dope. And I never played all the way through Miles Morales. Like, I played a couple hours of it, but just got sidetracked with different games. But that game is really good too. And this new one, I'm thinking is going to be legit. So Spider-Man has got to be up there. Um, I'm a big fan of the Metal Gear Solid games. Like, I don't know if you guys,
Yeah.
yeah, Metal Gear Solid, like
It didn't even
Metal
come
Gear
up on my
Solid 1. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1 has one of my like favorite gaming memories ever. Like, Metal Gear Solid 1 would like mess with it was like meta. Like, it would make you think your files on your memory card were corrupt.
Oh yeah, I remember
Like,
that.
it would like you had to, at one point you had to like turn off the console to turn it back on to like continue through. Like, there was crazy, and that was on PlayStation 1. Like,
Yeah.
they were doing some crazy stuff on that. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 on PS2 was like the first like mature game that way, that like I beat 100% on my own. Like, I didn't have any help from anybody. Like, I didn't like, I think I used a strategy guide, but it wasn't like my brothers helped me beat a level that was hard or anything like this. So I love Metal Gear Solid 2. I never played 3 fully, but Metal Gear Solid 4 was dope. Metal Gear Solid's definitely up there for me, for sure. So I would say either probably new Spider-Man and Metal Gear Solid are definitely up there. But it's hard, man. That's a hard question. You guys came out with a banger today, huh?
Man, it was good. Listen, and we brought up Tekken. We brought up
Okay.
Chat brought up Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. We never brought up Uncharted, which is a
Oh.
huge one.
Well,
Uncharted is
Uncharted and there's-
amazing.
Time out.
Uncharted and there's God of
Uncharted.
War. I mean,
Uncharted's got to be my number one. I changed my mind. Just like that, I'm done. I
Uncharted is
changed
good, and there's also then The Last of Us, which is
I was gonna say The Last of Us,
people are in
yeah.
love with, you know.
Wow,
But
Uncharted.
I
completely
forgot they had
about
a
that.
lot under their belt. They were at least C4 games deep. So yeah, like, where are the games?
You're right. You're right. But that's a topic for another discussion. So, if you enjoyed it, this conversation again, like, comment, and subscribe YouTube channel. That is it for our discussion here. Like we always say, play games you like, make content worthwhile, keep having discussions. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.